Greg, we've got the first pilot done in Canada on private property. We've got to come to Shemaina's, take a look at it. The only thing we're missing is a car.
So this is a fully street legal vehicle known as an LSV, a low speed vehicle. They are legal to drive. You can register them here in British Columbia, on Vancouver Island. They're made to drive around. They're also known as a NEV, a Neighbourhood Electric Vehicle. So you can drive them anywhere where there's a 50-kilometer zone where your local municipality has passed a bylaw. Unfortunately, a lot of the municipalities haven't caught on to it, but there's definitely a demand for this. You don't need big vehicles on the road. A lot of municipalities have adopted the NEV, the Neighbourhood Electric Vehicle, along the lines of a golf cart. This is not a golf cart, and golf carts don't belong on the road. They belong on golf courses. Well, we've had the car for 30 years, and there's always an improvement. This is not a golf car. It's a low-speed electric vehicle. It is built around safety. I mean, you've had a look in the front there. There's McPherson struts, disc brakes. The thing's solid. That roof is crush-proof. We took this thing for a spin from here around Stanley Park. Absolutely no problem. Great. And the eyes, eh? Everybody's looking at it. It's unique. It's pretty. Let's catch up. Let's get with it, guys.
Here we are in Vancouver at the Everything Electric Show, and we've got Jack Scarlett here is going to tell us all about neighborhood electrics in his part of the world.
Absolutely. So micromobility, big personal passion of mine. Generally speaking, right sizing is something we're really interested in. On the Fully Charged show, I firmly believe that most journeys are made in excessively large vehicles and could have been made better, quicker, more enjoyably in something smaller and more fit for purpose. So what does that mean? Well, it might just mean leaving your car at home and taking the bicycle every now and then. But more to the point, it means downsizing our vehicles. Particularly in North America, there's a real penchant for gigantic pickup trucks, and they are wonderful under the right circumstances. Actually, oftentimes when you're just doing a shopping run or a school run, you'd be better off in something smaller and lighter. But I'm a huge proponent for what we call microcars in Europe. Small, sub 1 ton, low powered electric vehicles, which are just absolutely wonderful for zooming around town. Limited range, but that's not what they're for. They're not for big trips, and for shorter distance stuff, they just feel like the right tool for the job.
Here in North America, we do drive too big of vehicles, and a lot of times just not necessary.
Do you have any anxiety around the sort of combining them on the road with the bigger stuff, or do you think that would work just fine?
Not for neighborhood electrics. I mean, you know, if you have 50 kilometers a day, that's more than enough for most people. And they plug into a regular household circuit, and so it makes it very, very easy. We don't have to have any extra charging infrastructure to go in. They're the right product, we think, for the right time here.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about them as well. Not just cheaper to buy, but so much cheaper to run. If you're coming out of a giant SUV, your mind would be blown by the cents that it costs to run a little electric microcar over the course of a week.
Absolutely. So Jack, the biggest thing you could kind of help us here is when we're reaching out to some of these manufacturers, Canada doesn't really show up much on anybody's radar. We're a small population, we're kind of 8 months of winter, 4 months of bad skating. And they say, that maybe they're not warm enough for here, but I don't think that's the truth. And you can help us maybe attract some of these vehicles to our country.
Well, I'd be happy to pass on the message that there is enthusiasm for them here. I mean, even small cars appear to be really overlooked in the North American market. We've got some wonderful smaller electric cars in Europe that don't make it over here, let alone the stuff underneath that. So I think it's about time manufacturers woke up to the fact that North America are in fact very interested in smaller, lighter vehicles.
We're so glad you didn't give up.
No way.
Nice to meet you.
Tasha.
Tasha, Dave.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
Okay, cool. Off we go.
Okay.
Okay, Tasha, tell us all about your new venture.
Okay. So we're called Heya Rentals, and we rent street legal electric golf carts. They are they're so fun and easy to drive. We've had locals and tourists rent the carts from us, and everybody's been so happy. Vancouver needs this, the world needs this. And so a lot of hard work, and we found these great carts, which are street legal. They're Transportation Canada approved. They're insured through ICBC, and we bought one in November last year, and we test drove it all through the winter, and then we launched in July. Thank you. So the plans for the future are to expand. We'd like to expand to the island, and then we'd like to expand through BC and across Canada. We've had great success with, families touring. Couples have taken us out on date nights. We've had great success with, the family where there's the grandma and grandpa and the kids and the mom and dad, and they need to be in one vehicle together. So that's been, they've loved it. Everybody has been, all of our customers have been so incredibly happy. Nice! Heya!
And then here we are in Vancouver with Transport Evolved, and tomorrow I share the stage with Kate, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what Transport Evolved does.
My name's Kate Walton-Elliott. I am a staff member at Transport Evolved. We are a YouTube content creation company primarily, although we also do EV consultancy and we do production for other companies as well. So we will produce videos for other people. As a YouTube channel, the most important thing that we cover is cleaner, greener, safer, smarter, and more equitable transportation. That means we talk about EVs, pickups, cars, things like that. We also talk about larger vehicles like semis, and being US based, we talk about other things that affect both the US and the whole world. So we look at the world of clean energy, and we also branch out and do things like at this event, we talked to an individual who does cleaner, lower carbon food. So that's the channel as a whole, is trying to explore the world of cleaner transportation, but also cleaner energy. So we have this awesome panel of people to talk about both why it's happening, what we can do about it, and really just get into the nitty-gritty of this kind of challenging problem that's facing us as we try and transition to electric vehicles, which do have needs for their batteries. And one of the things that you touch on there with the niche and the designing to a specific use case, I think that really speaks to something that you've been working on, Dave, because you are interested in NEVs and LSEVs, and that is a specific use case that has traditionally been met by niche automakers. I know that you've been trying to work towards building a pilot so that people can try out NEVs and experience them day to day. How has that been going, and what progress have you made?
Well, I'll give you a little bit of background for neighborhoods in British Columbia. So going back in 2008, the province of BC adopted NZEV, Neighbourhood Zero Emission Vehicle, bylaw 24.06 of the BC Transportation Act. And it's very much the same that's been used across the US. So that started it out, and one would have thought that it would have been enough to kind of get things going. We've only got 31 of 161 municipalities in British Columbia that have adopted that bylaw. And that's a bit of an issue. And along with the bylaw also comes a neighborhood NZV permit area. That's where you're allowed to drive them. Now, when I talk to a municipality and try to get them in, the first thing they say, well, Dave, if you don't have any vehicles, it's a little bit academic bringing it in right now. Of course, my answer is if you don't have the legislation in, it's pretty hard to bring the manufacturers in to be able to. So again, it goes back to your chicken and egg principle. Bringing in, it's very easy to adopt it in. And then after that, we could start to go into the manufacturers and start to bring in some of these amazing vehicles. We have a few here that are actually built right here in, in British Columbia.